Pour a cup of coffee and wake the kids. It's the Central Ohio High School Showcase with Derrick Owens Jr. Now here's your host of the C.O.H.S.S, D.O. Jr.
Good morning. What's good, everybody? Hey, if you up, you watching me, it's a blessing. Welcome to the Central Ohio High School Showcase again, the C.O.H.S.S. We do this, man, every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We are talking playoffs. Got a lot of stuff we're going to get to today, man. Hey, playoffs, it was a big surprise last night, in my opinion. A great game that was kind of marred by injury just a tad bit, but some other people stepped up huge to get the job done. And it's playoff football, coaching, just individuals that you may not think of to step up and have a great performance to help move a team on to the next level to get to that ultimate goal of a state championship or the opportunity to play in a state championship. And all of that was on display last night. Just an amazing night in high school football around the Central Ohio area and across the state. This is just our perspective here in Central Ohio, but other teams are making that same push around the state: Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dayton, Toledo, as a couple of our Central Ohio teams have played last night. They're all chasing that same dream. So, hey, look, you can watch us every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, okay? Again, we like you to comment about your team, just your experiences. Is your team qualifying? Are they moving on? Are they surviving and advancing? We love to hear from you. I want to talk playoffs with everybody out there. We do have a poll question up as well. The poll question simply: from the City League. I am from the City League, Columbus South High School, graduate 1993. And I always feel proud anytime the City League has an opportunity to do something special. It is not on our best legs like it once was, like it used to be. There are still some outstanding coaches, athletes, administrators within the City League. Hopefully one day we can get all this straightened out, get things how we used to be, maybe decrease a little bit, you know what I mean, and increase the production. I'd love to see that. That's a conversation for a different day. But our poll question, simply: will Eastmoor Academy, and if you see this poll question, you know what happened last night, and we'll get into what happened last night. Will Eastmoor Academy make the state finals in Division III? Hey, simply put, yes or no. We love for you to make a decision on that. Leave us some comments. Great night last night. As we do every morning when it comes to football, we give you the C.O.H.S.S score rundown, just a rundown of all the scores that we had last night. Teams that advance, some teams not so lucky. Still doesn't diminish a tremendous season from some of the teams that we have. So let's get into it. Last night, want to start with what, in my mind, maybe not the fact that it played out this way, but just the score, everything. Olentangy Liberty 10, Reynoldsburg 0. Olentangy Liberty moves on. A team that we thought was good, it seems that they may be even better than we thought. Dublin Kaufman 43-20 over Toledo Whitmer. Hilliard Davidson. I think Coach Brian White over there knew he had a good group of young men, some talented, individuals that can make some plays for him. Hilliard Davidson, they're going to be moving on. They're going to have an opportunity to get back to another state. They already got 2 state championships, so this isn't anything new to them. They are built for this. Hilliard Davidson, they get the victory over Springfield 17-14. Pickerington Central, okay, defending state champions, okay, 33-7 over Clayton Northmont. A team that, I'll be honest, we're all kind of rooting for here in the Central Ohio area. Whitehall, they go to Mansfield, and they take the loss to Massillon, Washington, 35-17. That score is not indicative of how close that game was. Late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter, Whitehall with an opportunity to win that game. Great season by Ray Melberg. Awards everywhere. We'll get into some Central District teams later on in the show. He was part of that player of the, he was player of the year in Division II. So an outstanding year for him, for Whitehall as a whole, as a program, as a school, as a community. I love to see how everybody just came together and they wanted to see them succeed. It was tremendous to watch that throughout the year. So Whitehall, they take the loss. They're not going to be moving on. But Massillon, Washington, again, we talk about it, a great team, kind of like the history of high school football and what it means to those young men and to that fan base. So they're going to be moving on. But a solid season from Whitehall, a credible season. The game I was at last night, it was cold. People, it was cold, but we made it through. Eastmoor Academy, 19-14 over Hartley. Hey, this was a game that a lot of people talked about. Both teams wanted this game. I mean, more than you can imagine. It was talk down on the sidelines. It was talks down on the field. But Eastmoor Academy, they pull out the 19-14 victory over Hartley. We'll talk about that game later. I'll tell you my experiences while I was there as well. Now, the team that Eastmoor is going to be playing next, and I'll just give you this real quick. Sheridan, they pull off a 20-7 victory over Granville. Granville was a good team coming in, so that's a surprising score that Sheridan was able to get it done, handily like that. I was surprised by that. So, and then look, there are games today. You can see the scores going across. There are going to be games today. A big one that's out there, London versus Clinton Massey. That's going to be a huge game. It's a huge rival game. Playoffs are on the line, so I'm sure that KJ Price and the young men over at London, they want to have a big game and make it through as well. Harvest Prep, they also have a big game today where they're going to be trying to advance, to that regional final. So Harvest Prep, that's another team you want to watch out for today. So, but look, let's get into it, man, as we always do. And look, again, definitely want you to comment on the show. I see Tony's checking in. Let's go Davison. Coach White is amazing. He keeps it consistent. Believe in the system. And thank you. Hey, Tony, thank you very much for checking in, man. I appreciate you, man. We'll talk. We'll talk soon. Tony Harris is checking in. Thank you. Tony, it was cold. Look, last night was so cold at the Eastmoor Hartley game. I drank my hot chocolate almost like a cup of water. Okay, it was freezing last night, but everybody was there to support Eastmoor. That was an incredible game. We'll get to it. There was some big time injuries in that I want to pray and hope that all the young men that got injured last night come out of that game okay. Eastmoor's got to get people healed up for next week, or they're going to have to keep adjusting on the fly. Sean Long is checking in. Savon Edwards went down. Yes, he did. And the other guys stepped up. Great job, Cameron Long. I'm going to talk about Cameron. I'm going to talk about Napoleon Harris. I'm going to talk about Marquise Laster. I'm going to talk about EA, the defense. It was an amazing game. And look, shout out to Hartley. An amazing season. We know what Coach Birchfield brings to the table. We know what Hartley brings to the table. And that's why this game was so important to both sides. They really wanted it. They don't play each other, okay? And it was a great atmosphere last night. So, yes, we are going to talk about Eastmoor for sure. So, look, I want to start the pick six off, the C.O.H.S.S. pick six. And, these were my top games for the area. My last game, I'm just going to let you know now, my last game is going to be Eastmoor versus Hartley, because that was just the game I thought would be the best for this area, and it was, even though some of the stars weren't there. All right. We got another comment from Josh Kassinger. Eastmoor Academy has a couple injuries, but I think they will be okay. Freshman DeMonte Solly stepped up last night, had 12 tackles, and when Gray Sawyer went down. Gray Sawyer, they also missed on the offensive end and the defensive end, but you're right. Everybody stepped up for Eastmoor. It was the true, it was the true feeling of a team win. I mean, their best player, the player of the year, went down, and they were able to rise up and overcome. So definitely. Like the Eastmoor, like I already knew this. All right, the Eastmoor love is coming in strong. Sean Long chimes in. Big catch by Napoleon Harris to seal the game. I can't talk enough about him. Eastmore, use Napoleon Harris more. He's that kind of guy. Napoleon Harris to seal the game. Cam Long, Micah Coleman, the others stepped up big. Look, man, after the game, I saw some real emotion and passion from the young men at Eastmore. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. I saw tears, man. And that's what it's about. This is high school football. This will be for some of these young men, the last time they ever play football again. This is the state tournament that they're in. They're trying to do something historic. I saw passion, want to, will, determination, whatever you want to talk about for Eastmore, man. It was completely amazing last night. And also the coaching staff, Miranda, the head coach, he does it football, basketball. He's been there at Eastmore forever. Congratulations to Coach Miranda. He's outstanding. And then their assistants. We talk about Savon so much, but his dad, Savon Edwards Sr., he's on the staff. He's a brilliant football mind. And they have others as well defensively. Shout out Coach Trav. But look, man, Eastmore, they're putting it together right now. They look amazing. But I want to get to some more games because there's some other teams and some other schools that had some big wins out there last night. I want to start the C.O.H.S.S. Pick 6, but keep your comments coming in. I want to hear from Dublin. I want to hear from Olentangy Liberty. I mean, let's talk about it. The huge win over Reynoldsburg last night. Pick Central, where are you at? Let's talk about it. Can these young men defend their state championship? It's hard enough to win one. Do they have the talent, the group of young men, to double this up? Hey, it's possible. Let's talk about it, okay? The first game in our Pick 6, Dublin Kaufman versus Toledo Whitmer. The reason look for Dublin Kaufman, in some circles, people felt like Dublin Kaufman would be a year away, okay? We know about some of the talent that they have. One of the most highly rated players in Central Ohio, in the state of Ohio, in the nation, Mike Drennan Jr. They call him Donut. Check his Twitter handle. They call me Donut. But he's a tremendous player. He had a huge game last night. The running back, Diallo, he had a big game last night. They have tools, and now they're starting to put it together, okay? Dublin Kaufman, many will tell you they didn't think that they would be here at this point. But Toledo Whitmer, and I do want to mention that Toledo Whitmer's quarterback, I'll get his name here, Riley Keller, he suffered an injury. So, Dublin Kaufman, they didn't have to defend against, the other team's best quarterback. But that makes no excuses here at all. This is the playoffs. This is what you have. This is what happens, because we're going to talk about Eastmore and Hartley later. And they had multiple players who were out the game. So Dublin Kaufman, impressive offensively, defensively. Quarterback Ethan Brown, we talked about him last week. He's just been consistent, actually better than consistent, making plays, leading this team. He has weapons around him. Defensively, they're solid on the back end and up front. They have a young man, which escapes me if anybody out there is watching, but they can let me know he's a young man, freshman. But he's going to be a big name that we talk about in the upcoming years on the defensive side, defensive end for Dublin Kaufman. So many people, again, would think a year away, but they're going to look to make things happen right now. And why not? They have what it takes. And, again, an outstanding coach, Coach Mark Crabtree. He's been at Dublin Kaufman forever. And this is the only thing that Dublin Kaufman is missing from their trophy case. When you go inside Dublin Kaufman and you look at their wall of fame, it's tremendous. They have athletes from, 70s and 80s. And, I mean, we all know about Brady Quinn and just recently Abby Steiner and the records that she set. And, they got even the basketball now, young Dominique Penn, the son of Scooney Penn. But the only thing that they're missing that would make them, I feel, like really complete as a school, as a program, their athletic history would be a state championship in football. And maybe this is the team that gets it done. Sometimes they catch you right before they're supposed to notice you. Hey, thought it was next year, but it was this year. So let's keep an eye on that game. They're going to have a tough task next week in their regional final against Olentangy Liberty, and we'll talk about that team coming up. The next game in our Pick 6, Hilliard Davidson versus Springfield. look, we talked about it going into it in our score rundown. Hilliard Davidson, 2 state championships, incredible coach Brian White, and they've been finding playmakers over the last couple weeks, and they do it in the running game. They're not going to throw the ball. If they throw the ball 10 times in a game, that's a lot for them. Okay, they want to play smash mouth football. They want to keep it in the box. They want to play physical a style of football. But they are getting they're getting some special plays from young men. I want to say Jordan Hicks, the young man last week, he had a couple touchdowns, and this week. Actually, he had a couple touchdowns this week as well, 2 1-yard touchdown runs, and that's how they get it done. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That is what Hilliard Davidson football is sometimes about. And then as soon as you think that's it, bam, they hit you over the top for a big one. They go for 40 or 50 yards. They get a touchdown. On Hilliard Davidson, okay, they will get to avenge their only loss of the season in their playoff game coming up next week, and that's against Pick Central. We all remember that game, okay? Low scoring. They get into overtime. Hilliard Davidson has an opportunity to win the game. There's a fumble. Pick Central recovers. They kick a field goal. Pick Central goes on to win. So I know, okay, with the history of Hilliard Davidson and their state titles, with Pickerington Central and the state title that they won last year, this is a clash of the Titans, okay? And we'll talk, we'll get into that a little bit later, but hey, this is what it's all about. Pick Central, Hilliard Davidson, with opportunity to move on to the state. All right, thank you again for the comments. I see you out there. Robert Collins chimes in, Toledo Central Catholic. Hey, again, one of the great programs in the state of Ohio. I'm sure that they're going to have a lot to say, when it comes down to who's going to walk away with a state championship this year. All right, let's get into game number 3 of the C.O.H.S.S. Pick 6. I'm still having trouble. I'm not going to lie to you, man. Let's talk about it. Reynoldsburg takes the loss to Olentangy Liberty, 10-0. Again, I'm more surprised by the score than I am that Reynoldsburg lost. Reynoldsburg was coming in. They've had an incredible year. You can't talk enough about where they were, their history of their program, of their school when it comes to football. And what they accomplished this year, being 6-0 for the first time since 1961, beating Pick North for the first time, I believe, like in this part of the decade or the second time, beating Pick Central, okay, beating Lancaster, winning the OCC, the number 1 seed overall. Just the amount of great players they had, Jeremiah Burton and Desmond Cooper and Marshawn Rice, who came on the show, who's tremendous and headed to the University of Purdue. Michael Watley, the quarterback, Canby Rice. They fill up the whole all Central District team. They were completely amazing this year, but it's a 1-game playoff. That is the thing about football. You got to go out there. You got to bring it every single weekend. And if you have an off game, if you have a bad game, the other team is there to pounce. Let's shout out, Olentangy Liberty. They play the same kind of style that Hilliard Davidson does. They want to play smash mouth football. Their quarterback is their leader. Okay. Here's the thing. This is why you got to give Olentangy Liberty a lot of credit. When you do the research on the game, and shout out to This Week News for all the great information that they provide in their articles, that's going back over the games and things you might have missed, statistics as well. The quarterback, Michael Okuli, he led Olentangy Liberty in rushing. He was the guy, that got most of their yardage. But here's the thing. It wasn't a lot of yardage. Reynoldsburg, they outgained Olentangy Liberty in the first half, 231-28. I'm going to say that again. 231-28. That Reynoldsburg outgained Olentangy Liberty in the first half. And for the game, it was 267-152. So you see that Olentangy Liberty got it going in the second half to pull away in what was, to say low-scoring game is it wouldn't even do it justice. I did not expect that I'd walk in here this morning and say that Reynoldsburg didn't score a point with the players that they have. But, to to the winners goes, they get to move on. And Olentangy Liberty is going to have a tremendous opportunity against a Dublin Kaufman team that they lost to early in the year. But so teams are going to be looking for revenge. Teams are going to want to, make history moving forward, because a lot of these teams are playing for something that they haven't got a chance to play for in a while. Even though they've had great seasons, they've been maybe this far, but they want to take that next step and get themselves to that ultimate goal. So, hey, congratulations to Olentangy Liberty, again, led by quarterback Michael Okuli. Got a 44-yard touchdown run late in that game, which sealed it, getting Olentangy Liberty the 10-0 victory, and they're going to be moving on. But again, congratulations to the entire community, the school of Reynoldsburg. Just a tremendous year. We all have fun following it. It was exciting, man. And head coach Buddy White, he was also the Central District Coach of the Year. I'll get into some of those names later as well. But tremendous season by Reynoldsburg. Let's get into game number 4 of the Pick Six, and that was Pick Central versus Clayton Northmont. I've thought all year that what is going to lead Pick Central is their defense, and last night was I was right in that. It's crunch time right now, okay? And Pick Central's defense is tremendous, led up front by Dwayne Carter Johnson. They're tremendous on the back end as well. Terry Sumwell, my man C.C. Gordon out there, Lorenzo Styles. We know about the names and the players that they have, but last night I had to watch this more than once just to gather it in. They had 3 pick sixes last night. 3 pick sixes. I want to say that again. Interception, returns for touchdown, pick sixes. That's what we're doing here. It's the C.O.H.S.S. pick six. But last night, Dwayne Carter, Terry Sumwell, and Jaquan Crawford all had pick sixes in their 33-7 victory. Now, look, we have the poll question, and I hope that you are voting on that, yes or no. Will Eastmoor Academy make the state playoffs? Before I continue, Stephanie Champion, thank you for watching. I appreciate that. My girl, Sue Madursky, she's watching. My baby out there. Marvin James, hey, South High graduate. I appreciate you checking in. What's up, Big Marv? He said, let's go Pick Central. Marvin James, man. Big Marv, did you ever have a pick six? I don't know if you had an interception in high school or not. I remember those games back out there in the early 90s, man. That's my guy, Marvin James. Thank you for checking in. But, yes, man, Pick Central is tremendous. 3 pick sixes. We know what they bring on offense. The quarterback, Demetri Crenshaw, young Michi, and Jameer Jackson in the backfield. And again, the guys that you see on defense, the Terrys, the Lorenzo Styles, they bring that same kind of energy and passion on offense as well. It hasn't been necessarily working for them on offense like they like it to click, but defensively they are just so dominant that it's just hard to move the ball to score on them, okay? So, again, hey, look, Coach Alex from Whitehall. We're going to talk about Whitehall in a minute here. Proud of our young men. They left everything on that they had on the field. Hashtag Whitehall. Whitehall, man, tremendous, man. Like what those guys did. Shout out to R.J. Burris, Keon Freeman. It was just, look, man, you can't really explain. Those young men won't really understand what they accomplished for that high school until years down the line when they get older and they have kids, and they say, hey, this is what we did with Whitehall. This is the history that we made. This is the run that we made. So all the coaches in the community, man, hey, you all should be very proud of what happened there at Whitehall. So definitely. Big Marv, he did chime in. My guy Marvin James, he said, never a fumble recovery for 45 yards and against Briggs. Shout out Big Marv. I know that's right, man. Thank you for checking in. Coach Alex, he checks in again. It was 17-17 for the Whitehall game, Whitehall versus Massillon, Washington. 17-17 with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter. So Whitehall was right there, man. They had an opportunity in this game, and honestly, I wanted them just to represent themselves well, go out there, fight hard, discipline, play good football, and that's what it sounds like they did. And so congratulations, man, to Whitehall for sure. But again, man, look, let's just go back to Pick Central real quick. I want to ask you out there, chime in right now. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, can Pick Central repeat? That's what I want to know. Outside of the Eastmore question, I want you to do the Eastmore, okay? Will Eastmore make the state finals? But another one out there, let's talk about it. Will Pick Central repeat? They have the tools, okay? A lot of people talked about the offensive line at the beginning of the year. The offensive line has had an opportunity to gel. As my guy, Sean Emerson, we talked a little bit, okay? He said that offensive line, it was rough early, but now they're getting the opportunity. Those young men have been through a full season. Now we're in the playoffs. So maybe that will be something as well that we look forward to. Maybe the running game starts to play a bigger part as we get, to the the nitty gritty here when it comes to the playoffs, man. The opportunity to get to that state Final Four, have an opportunity for that state championship. So yes, Pick Central 33-7, loads of talent, leadership, great coach at Coach Sherrod there at Pick Central. They have the title in their back pocket from last year. So there's pressure because it's Pick Central, but really there's no pressure at all. Can they repeat? Will they do it? It'd be tremendous to watch. But Hilliard Davison, they're going to have a say in that, okay? Dublin Kaufman, they're going to have a say in that. Olentangy Liberty, they're going to have a say in that. And that's even before they get to the other teams in the state. So, but I want to know. Do you think they'll be able to repeat? Let's get to game number 5. Again, we just talked about it. Whitehall versus Massillon, Washington, 35-17. Whitehall takes the victory. Whitehall takes the loss. Massillon, Washington with the victory. But again, to me, this was bigger than this game for Whitehall. This was about a season, a group of young men, coaches, a community. Whitehall, I seen they did they pass the levy? They passed the levy to get a new turf field, okay? Big things going over there at Whitehall. They want to build this up. They want to become one of the powers athletically, okay? They want to be a good school academically, athletically, somewhere you can come and be a part of Whitehall, okay? This was big for them moving forward, okay? They've been to the playoffs the last couple years. They wanted to win a game in the playoffs. That was the theme. We had Ray Melberg in studio here early in the season. I believe it was week 2. And he said, look, man, we want to have a solid season. We want to get to the playoffs, and we want to win a game. And that's what they did. Whitehall, they got a victory last week. We knew that it was going to be very tough for them. We seen Massillon, Washington against Walnut Ridge. We knew the kind of team that Walnut Ridge was. We knew the kind of players that they had. Massillon, Washington got the victory against Ridge, and they had a tremendous season as well, making the playoffs. Whitehall knew that it was going to be tough. I seen them on the live video. They had 3 bus loads of people going up to Mansfield. So I hope everybody got a chance to really enjoy the ride, enjoy the experience. Again, man, the memories become so much greater later when you remember your teammates and the people that you got a chance to do this with. So Whitehall. But look, let's just talk about Ramel Bird, man, just for a moment here. Division II Central District Area Player of the Year. He was surrounded by a good group of young men. I can't name them all. Whitehall, you know who you are, though, okay? But they were led by the quarterback, which is what you want to see. He was an outstanding young man. You seen him all through the papers, all, award shows on TV where they had Ramel Bird. He was the Mid-State League Player of the Year. He walked the walk. He talked the talk, okay? And that's what you want to see. He's a great young man, great student, great family. Shout out to the Bird family. And I just hope you guys were able to enjoy, even though it came to an end last night, what a tremendous, tremendous season this has been for the family, the young man, the school, and the community. So shout out to Whitehall. And we'll see what they bring back next year, okay? This was this year. And now that season ends, and now we'll be right back here, in September saying, hey, can Whitehall do it again? Can they, rebuild on the fly? Can they get those young men in the school, out for football, okay, to continue this and build a program there. So also Coach Luke Anderson checks in. He said a call back a touchdown on a 99-yard play. Those kind of things happen. Look, I feel I wasn't there for that game. I feel for all those young men. You get those kind of plays that happen in games. Penalty here, penalty there. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Changes the momentum completely, and then the other team is able to pull away. So you guys did a great job, Coach Alex, Coach Luke over at Whitehall, man. All the assistants, everybody that was involved there, man. You guys did tremendous, and congratulations, man, on that incredible season. So, hey, listen, let's get to this last game here. All right, this is the game that I went to last night. Again, it was freezing cold. Everybody that was out there last night supporting those young men, I understand. I seen it all. Blankets. Everybody was, all the way face, hat, everything, out there, gloves. Couldn't really even see people last night. Yes. One more thing on Whitehall. Coach Rod Lightfoot, he was the district coach of the year. That's what you need. Leader at head coach, leader at quarterback, and this is the kind of season that you get. Yes, Coach Rod Lightfoot. I'm going to get to them. I got a whole list of names and player of the year and coach of the year. It's early in the show. We're going to get to that. But right now, let's talk a little EA, man. Let's talk a little City League, Columbus Public School Athletics, okay? Going up against the big dog, Coach Birchfield, Hartley High School, the Hartley Hawks, multiple-time state champion in multiple divisions, Division III, Division IV. Hartley, they bring it every year. They replace running backs, they replace quarterbacks, but the consistent is Coach Birchfield, his system, how they get it done. And last night, we all wanted to see it. I believe that we've talked about the potential of this game since like week 7, okay? It could be Hartley versus Eastmoor. What would happen? Livingston Avenue, okay, just separated from miles apart. They scrimmage each other every year. They don't play each other every year, okay? And last night, man, it was everything that it was supposed to be from a football game perspective, except for the injuries that took some of the best players on the field away. I kind of want to deal with that first, okay, because our thoughts and prayers go out to all the young men who suffered injuries last night. And it was a lot, okay? Miles Fleming, the quarterback for Hartley, he sustained a head injury, possible concussion. I'm sure he had a concussion, okay? You could just see the reaction on the field. I hope he's doing better. Make sure that young man gets everything he needs to recover fully. And I'll see Miles Fleming on the track in the spring because he's one of our fastest young men around the area as well. But it really hurt Hartley from them being able to run what they want to run in the manner that they want to do it. So that was a big loss for them. That was a big loss for them, Miles Fleming. But then on the other side, the Division III Player of the Year, Savon Edwards, over 1,400 yards, 30 touchdowns. He sustained an injury. He had a separated shoulder. He tried to give it a go. He couldn't give it a go. Everybody, listen, the Eastmoor crowd was almost trying to Jedi mind trick him, not trick him. I don't want to use it in that sense, but just the energy, the passion, the force. They wanted him to be able to play. They didn't want him to go out like that. And it was up to his teammates to carry him and hopefully get him another week. They were able to do that, okay? But it was tough just watching Savon, the great player that he is. I told you already that he is my Division III State Player of the Year. He's already got the district. Let's go ahead and add the state to that as well. One of the best and toughest players you will ever see at his size, his commitment. But he wasn't able to play last night, okay? And then on top of that, when Savon went out, okay, Tyree Gray Sawyer, he went out. He got a couple carries. He tried to carry the load for Eastmoor, then he went out. So you have the two running backs for Eastmoor, the way they like to, to carry and hammer the ball. They weren't able to go. the quarterback for Hartley, their leader, Miles Fleming, he wasn't able to go. So now here we are, okay? The game started early. Hartley opening kickoff. They drive it down. They get a touchdown, 7-0. And I see Sean Long out there. My son Cameron, he is doing better. He will be ready for next week. They're going to need Cameron. He was also dinged up after Sawyer was, okay? So Cameron, he's going to be doing better next week, praying for all the injured kids. Yes, man, it was tough, man, because they were, I mean, these are the kids that, you know, we're really looking to come and watch. But Cameron Long, he had a huge game, man. We'll talk about him, and he got a touchdown last night. Hartley went up 7-0. Eastmoor, they come right back. They get a touchdown, 7-7. And then Hartley returns the kickoff back. They go up 14-7. So early fireworks in the first quarter. I thought this game was going to be a 35-34, maybe in a 40s type game. That kind of explosiveness on each side. Grace Sawyer, he will be back next week. Okay, so yes, Tyree, he looks like it was an ankle for him. Hopefully he'll be, you know, up and able to go. Savon, we're still waiting to hear about that, but definitely those young men played a huge part last night. Thank you, Sean, for checking in for sure on the C.O.H.S.S. here. We're still going through the pick six. Eastmoor over Hartley. It was a historic win. Both teams wanted to win this game. Miranda and Eastmoor, they wanted to win it. Birchfield and Hartley, they wanted to win it. They knew how big this game was. Nicole Sykes, she checks in. Hello to you, Nicole. Thank you for checking in. Hey, what surprised you last night? Who were you rooting for? Okay, Pick Central, Dublin Kaufman, Eastmoor. Who are you rooting for? Now, you see that poll question. Will Eastmoor make the state finals? I want you to vote on that, yes or no. We have another one. Will Pick Central defend their state championship? I want you to vote on that one, yes or no, on the C.O.H.S.S. here. All right, but look, let's get back into it just real quick, okay? Eastmoor, it was a team victory. Micah Coleman, he came in, he closed out the victory, 77 yards on 19 carries. I don't know if that young man thought that he was going to be having that game in that moment. I don't think he did. And that it just showed at the end of the game the passion that he had about the moment that he stepped up for his teammates. Okay, Nicole Sykes, she says she's a Pick Central Tiger. Will they repeat? Okay, they have the tools. Can they repeat? That's what I want you to vote on that for. Hey, look, Sean Long, he comments again. Micah came up big. He did come up big. It was great to see how his teammates embraced him, okay? After that kind of, look, the player of the year goes down. What are you going to do? Eastmoor, okay, they are great at adjustments after halftime. The last two games, okay, Eastmoor against Hillsborough, Eastmoor last night against Hartley. They go into both of those games at halftime trailing. 14-7 last night against Hillsborough is 8-6. But they made the proper adjustments offensively and defensively. And when the player of the year is out, you have to figure out a way to get others involved. And one person that they got involved for a big touchdown that gave them the touchdown to seal it really was Napoleon Harris. I love this young man. Big receiver on the outside for Eastmoor. Napoleon and the quarterback, Marquise Laster, they have a great connection. Napoleon basically gets him a touchdown every single game. But I feel that Eastmoor, they need to use this man even more in the passing game. And I know Eastmoor wants to pound the ball, and they're solid in the running game. But when you have those one-on-one shots, and Marquise likes to throw it deep, and he has that kind of weapon on the outside in Napoleon Harris. I think that they can continue to make big plays. I think he's going to be a big-time factor moving forward against Sheridan and some of these other teams when it comes to if they're going to have an opportunity to win this state championship. I love Napoleon. He always steps up big. He's their top receiver. But Cameron, he can do it all, which is why I love Cameron. Last night, Cameron was in the backfield. He was a receiver. He returns kickoff and punts. He had a big touchdown as well. So both of those young men were vital. I mean, vital in Eastmoor winning last night when two of their other better and best players went down. But Eastmoor, look, man, when Savon went down, I just kind of, I looked on the bench. I looked at what Eastmoor had left, and they had, I believe, the more amount of better athletes to get a victory in a game like that when the quarterback goes down for Hartley. Savon Edwards goes down for Eastmoor. I think Eastmoor had a little bit more. And look, man, congratulations to Hartley on an outstanding year. It started with them taking a big loss at Willersburg. People didn't know, hey, was this going to be the kind of Hartley team that can make it back to the playoffs, have an opportunity at the state? And it was typical Hartley. But the Coach Birchfield, he's won his share. He will tell you that he has more state titles than any other team around here. He's right in that. And I believe that Hartley will be back again next year. They always kind of reload. But you have to feel good for all of the young men and the coaches at Eastmoor. City League stand up. Eastmoor stand up. Everybody from around the City League was rooting for Eastmoor in this game. I know some people that were on recruiting trips from the city. They were checking in. Hey, what's going on at the Eastmoor game? Is Eastmoor getting it done? I feel good for all the parents. Yes, as Sean Long comments again, Hartley played hard. Great game. It was, man. It was a great game. If we don't have the injuries, who knows really how great it could have been. So many explosive players that weren't on the field. But, I mean, it was just it was one. Injuries is a part of sports. That happened, and both teams, I feel, still maintained a level of composure to make it a great game. I believe Eastmoor had the complement of better athletes that got them to a point where they were able to get up on Hartley. And once Hartley lost their quarterback in Miles Fleming, it was tough for them. It was really tough after that. But both teams play hard. You're all right. Cold weather football, Ohio football, and that's what it's all about, man. So congratulations to all the young men at Eastmoor. Savon Edwards, get healthy. Cameron Long, get healthy. Tyree Gray Sawyer, get healthy. Marquise Laster, keep leading that group of young men. And get number 5 the ball. Napoleon Harris, get that young man the ball. He is a playmaker. So that was the pick 6. For your Central Ohio area. Again, Harvest Prep, let's get that W today. Let's keep that going. And London versus Clinton Massey, not directly in your Central Ohio area, but a big game, a big rival game. London has one of the best players in the state in KJ Price. He's going to be on this list that I'll talk about here because I want to congratulate some soccer players, young men and young women on like the OCC and their all league teams. And I want to get into this too, man. This week news, they released the all Central District football teams. Hey, a lot of great players, man, all over the area. Congratulations to each and every young man that was named on this list. Not only the first team, not only the second team, okay? Honorable mention. If you got out there on that field this year, if you made plays, if you were a student in the classroom, okay, congratulations, man, to be on this list. But I just want to go through a couple names and just, congratulate a lot of these young men and coaches, okay? In Division I, the Central District Offensive Player of the Year was Griffinville from Hilliard Bradley. Congratulations, that young man throwing the ball around, talented receivers. After they lost a lot last year, they were right back again in the mix. Congratulations to that young man. Defensive Player of the Year, Ethan Royer from Hilliard Davison. They're still playing. He's still making plays. Defensive Player of the Year also plays offense as well. And congratulations to Buddy White, Reynoldsburg head coach, Coach of the Year. An outstanding season for Reynoldsburg. Loads of talent returning. Reynoldsburg should be good again next year and for years to come. So congratulations to Coach Buddy White at Reynoldsburg for the Central District Coach of the Year in Division I. And all of the young men, second team, honorable mention as well. Division II, okay? And we knew this young man was going to have a big year. He put up video game numbers throughout the season. But in Division II, it was quarterback Raymel Bird from Whitehall. He was the offensive player of the year. The defensive player of the year was Darren Davis from Canal Winchester. Now, just a quick moment on Canal Winchester. They only lost one game, 9-1 on the year. They have a young man that I feel like you will be seeing in this offensive player of the year, shuffle here over the next couple years, and that's Stephon Bird, running back. He was over 1,000 yards as a freshman. Think about that, 14 years old, playing high school football, over 1,000 yards, a lot of touchdowns. He is going to be somebody that you want to watch going forward for Canal Winchester. They're going to have big-time seasons coming up here. They didn't make the playoffs at 9-1. That's another discussion we can get into. I don't like that, how we get into the computer points and, who teams play and who they don't. A great year there. And, again, we talked about it for Whitehall. Coach Rod Lightfoot, the Division II Coach of the Year. Congratulations to you, Coach, leading your young men to a historic season over there at Whitehall. Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. Whitehall did some big things over the year. And Darren Davis defensively for Canal Winchester. Hey, my man, Magwood, congratulations. He was on the first team for defensive backs, and just a host of other young men who made this team as well. I want to get down to Division III, okay? Division III, two outstanding players, okay, for the offensive and defensive players of the year. They led their teams throughout a great season for one, a tough season for another. Division III Offensive Player of the Year. I've been telling you this for weeks, not only in Central Ohio, but in the state. As AP, let's get that out there too. Savon Edwards, Offensive Player of the Year from Eastmore Academy. Again, dinged up last night. We hope he can get better with the shoulder. He was tremendous, man. Over 1,400 yards, 30 touchdowns, led Eastmore to a 9-1 record. The only loss on their resume was to Westerville Central, another playoff team in Division I. And then Defensive Player of the Year, Joey Velasquez from DeSales, the University of Michigan commit. He's tremendous. He does it all over the field. Runs, blocks, catches, quarterback, linebacker, safety. He's a tremendous baseball player. He may be drafted as well when it comes to baseball. So he's an awesome player over at DeSales. And Coach of the Year, Justin Buttermore of Granville. They had a solid season as well. The Blue Aces over there, only one loss on the year. So I would love to hear your comments. Tell me who are you, when you're watching right now, who is your favorite player that made all-district, first team, second team, honorable mention? I don't care. Let's shout out all of those young men for a tremendous season as well, okay? So that was going to Division III. In Division IV, we kind of knew this. This young man, I believe over 2,000 yards or about 2,000 yards, KJ Price from London. He had a tremendous season. He led London basically to one loss. They have a big game today. Are they able to move on against Clinton Massey? The Defensive Player of the Year, Brickle Theo from London. So Bricker Theo from London defensively. They had it going on both ends, offense and defense, both players of the year in the Central District, and also the Coach of the Year, Wade Bartholomew from Bloom Carroll. They always have a solid program. Sean Long, again, no love for my son on the all-district team, but definitely will not be overlooked by the team he plays. Hey, look, I know everybody wants recognition, okay, and I know you want that to back you up as a player. We all wanted that. I wanted it as a runner. I wanted to be all-district, all-state. Mr. Long, your son is tremendous. He is a playmaker. Don't worry about a thing, man. Listen, we all know he's one of the guys that's leading. If it wasn't for him last night, Eastmore wouldn't be moving on. They needed him as much as they needed any other person last night. Cameron is tremendous. I told you, look, punt returns, kick returns, running back, receiver. Just get the ball in his hands. He makes plays. Don't worry about anything long. Everything is good, man. Your son is a tremendous player and a tremendous young man. That will all take care of itself. T.T. Alexander, she wants to talk about C.C. Gordon. Hey, C.C., that's my guy. He makes plays over to Pick Central. Savon Edwards, Sean Long commented, Savon Edwards will carry us. We just got to make sure he's healthy. We just got to make sure he's healthy, and hopefully he can continue to have a good run. T.T. Alexander also, Pickerington Central Tigers. Look, that whole roster, we talk about it. The Division I athletes, Dwayne Carter going to Duke, Carter Johnson going to TCU, okay? Michi out there, recruited by everybody. Jameer Jackson, the type of player he is. Terry Samuel, the type of player he is. Lorenzo Styles, Pick Central. Can they repeat? They got the tools. Let's see if we can get it done. Kim Crawford, she comments, the defense wins championships. Pick Central Tigers, Jaquan Crawford, pick 6 last night for Jaquan Crawford, okay? Getting it done defensively. That's what I think Pick Central's calling card is. That's what I think will carry them. But there are other teams that are going to have a say in this. Dublin Kaufman's going to have a say in this. Olentangy Liberty's going to have a say in this. The team that Pick Central beat early in the year, Hilliard-Davidson, that team with 2 state championships and a great coach, they're going to have a say in this. But look, it's only 7 days, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. They're all right there. And I do find it interesting, Pickerington, Hilliard, Olentangy, Dublin, okay? Hey, Central Ohio, dominant this year when it comes to Division I in football. There's some more names I could get to as we go down the list, Division 5, Division 6, Division 7. There is one young man that I do want to shout out here for sure. Let me get back to it, okay? Let me get back to it here. In Division 7, Derrick Owens Jr. at Harvest Prep. He was the player of the year in the Central District as well. Don't forget about Harvest Prep. I know it's Division 7. It kind of slips our mind sometimes. They are on a path to get to this state championship. They want that, okay? They were close last year. They've had great players. Let's not forget Daniel Bangura, the all-time leading rusher in the history of Ohio high school football, Harvest Prep. Isaiah Mullins, the Wisconsin Badger right now, Harvest Prep. So Derrick Owens Jr., he's adding his name to that legacy of great players there, okay? T.T. Alexander, she comments again, our defense is amazing at Pick Central. Yes, it is, okay? Harvest Prep, let's get that W. Let's get that W today. Let's keep those title dreams rolling. OCC soccer, I just want to congratulate these names. I'm going to run them through. They were player of the year. This is the all OCC boys soccer teams 2018. I just want to get these names out there. Congratulations to these young men, and we're going to name the ladies as well. Okay, Jacob Borsia, Westerville Central, player of the year. He was player of the year in the OCC Buckeye division. Okay. The OCC Capital, the player of the year was Noah Bofoe, New Albany. He was player of the year in the OCC Capital for soccer. Okay. In the OCC Cardinal division, we had co-player of the years, Worthington Kilbourne's Logan Evans. Okay. And Brigham Canali from Delaware Hayes, co-players of the year. Congratulations to those young men. In the OCC Central, Fernando DePino from Upper Arlington, player of the year. Congratulations, Fernando. And in the OCC Ohio, you know that a team is solid when they can't even decide who the player of the year in the conference is because they just give it to 3 guys. They were that amazing. Reese Allball, Braden Durbin, and Will Haar, all from Pick North. They were all co-players of the years. So what a tremendous team that Pick North had in soccer. If that's what you're going to get, 3 co-players of the years, okay? And then the OCC girls 2018, the players of the year in each division, the OCC Buckeye, Claran Fetcher from Olentangy Liberty. Congratulations to that young lady for the player of the year. The OCC Capital was Mac Pedroza from Big Walnut, player of the year, okay? Amber Beals from Worthington Kilbourne, player of the year in the OCC Cardinal. In the OCC Central, Riley Wagner. You know about that name. Riley Wagner from Dublin Kaufman, player of the year. Outstanding player. I believe she won an award a couple years ago when we did the varsity awards. She's been a tremendous soccer player, definitely. And the OCC Ohio, Molly Mikulak was from Grove City, was player of the year. And I want to shout out a friend of the program, Madison Martinez. She was on that first team as well. So congratulations to all of those young men, those young ladies in soccer for achieving that first team status in the OCC. And look, man, we got a couple minutes here. Let's just talk about next week, the games that, that's kind of right in front of us. Still to be determined where the locations are. Follow the Facebook page. I'll make sure that I get that information up. Again, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. But Dublin Kaufman versus Olentangy Liberty. Dublin Kaufman with the victory earlier in the year. Can this team do it? Is the time now for Coach Mark Crabtree, Ethan Brown, one of the top players in the state, Mike Drennan Jr.? My name Donut. Is it time for Dublin Kaufman to put the trophy case where they feel it belongs, right there in Dublin Kaufman, the Shamrocks, the Rocks? Can they get it done? And Olentangy Liberty, they're just going to keep doing what they do. Solid defense, disciplined team. They're going to run the ball. They're going to make plays when they need to. Maybe Olentangy Liberty feels it's their time to make that step up to the next level and put a state championship in their trophy case. Okay, look, another big one we're going to have next week: Pickerington Central versus Hilliard Davidson. I told you that is a clash of the Titans, a meeting at the top. Okay, we know what Hilliard Davidson brings: great coaching, the system, the discipline. Okay, they're going to play in a box in a phone booth. Okay, nothing really on the outside or over the top. Pickerington Central, can they get it done? Can they rise to the occasion again after what happened earlier in the year, the overtime game? Can they rise up, led by Dwayne Carter, led by Demetri Crenshaw, led by, Coach Sherrod? They have playmakers, Terry, Cece, Lorenzo. Is it possible? Hey, Quiz, man, where you been? I see you watching. Great game last night. Eastmore's quarterback, Quiz Lassiter, he's checking in. Hey, great game last night. Poised, under the pressure. Get number 5 the ball, Napoleon. Get Napoleon Harris the ball. He can make plays out there for you. TT, yes, we can. We have playmakers for Pick Central. Yes, you do. Okay? Eastmore carrying the flag for the city league. Okay? Can they get it done? They're going to face a team Sheridan. They're going to come in disciplined, tough, hard-nosed. Will Eastmore be able to get his players back? Will they be able to get them healthy? Okay? Cameron Long. We just talked about it. Quez Laster. Okay? Napoleon Harris. They've got weapons. Defensively, listen, the D-line, the linebackers, Eastmore, physical, tough, passionate, and then the coaching, man. Savon Edwards, Miranda, Coach Miranda. Like I heard another coach say last night, he's the state coach of the year. Why not? What he's done, what he's accomplished. Hey, great out there. Whitehall, congratulations, man. Whitehall, congratulations on a fantastic year. Raymel Bird, we talked about it. Reynoldsburg, congratulations on a fantastic year. A history-making year. You guys got so much to be proud of what you did. You have so much to look forward to, what you guys are going to be able to accomplish, the colleges that you guys are going to be able to go to. Marshawn Rice going to Purdue, and Camby Golf, he's going to Air Force. The bond that you guys are going to have for the remainder of your life that you've created through this game of football on a high school level, you will never, ever forget. Go see Marshawn Rice on Twitter. He put that basically, it was fun. It was historic. Hey, it's regional finals coming up, all right? I will see you next week, as always, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here on the Central Ohio High School Showcase. As always, like I tell you, be good. See you next week.